Well, let's start this video off with a very hot take. Rent-A-Girlfriend is a solid 8.5 out of 10 series, at least from what I have seen so far. I'm currently around episode 15, and obviously that opinion could either change or, stay the same. I'll have to see as I continue watching the series. But the point is that Rent-A-Girlfriend is a series that has been talked about a lot in my community. Everybody has recommended it to me at least once or twice in the past. I have my entire Discord that constantly mentions and talks about it, and they're constantly saying, it's Rent-A-Peak, and as I said in my previous video when I did my first impressions, I was like, I don't know if that's actually true, if they really believe that it is a peak, or if it's not, but regardless, my personal opinion, Rent-A-Girlfriend is literally a solid 8.5 out of 10, and let me kind of explain my reasons, and also, actually, before I go any further, let's do another hot take. Best girl is Mami. Gotta say it. Have to say it. And I'll explain all my reasons in just a second. So, why am I rating it so highly? Well, for one, I actually legitimately enjoyed the entertainment. It was a very entertaining show. And I finished season 1. I expected, honestly, this series to just be straight up unwatchable. That's what I expected. Because I have heard the stories, the memes, I've seen it. I have literally seen the images and stuff of people just absolutely railing on Rent-A-Girlfriend for years now. And I was just like, this series is going to be just so bad, I'm not even going to be able to finish it. That's what I was under the impression of when, I first heard about Rent-A-Girlfriend and I was starting my journey of, actually watching this. Now, here's the thing. After finishing it, the entertainment value is high. And I will still say my opinion of Kazuya, he is absolutely pathetic. My opinion on that matter has not changed whatsoever, and my opinion of Chizuru really hasn't changed either. I think that legitimately, I don't see anything wrong with her. She's just someone that's just trying to make money. She's basically like an OnlyFans, but more of safer work version, so to speak, and she's just getting money for being a fake girlfriend. I don't really see anything wrong with Chizuru whatsoever. In fact, Kazuya is the one that's in the wrong for making the situation between them very complicated by continuously going after her or wanting to fund her overall movie play. That's as far as I've gotten so far. Just everything about that, it's just like, yeah, Kazuya is kind of in the wrong. I wouldn't really blame Chizuru at all for this. Obviously, I do think that with what's going on currently in the series, I do think that she has elements to her to where she's not helping, but I do think at the end of the day, she's just going after her dream of what she wants to be. She wants to basically pursue acting and to save up money in any way she can. She's doing that. So I'm not really going to put Chizuru at fault here. I think she's doing an A-okay job. I don't think she's really a bad person for that. Once again, the problem stems to Kazuya. He's just pathetic. But let's go, in a little bit different path. Let's not just talk about that. So obviously you're probably wondering why so highly. Why 8.5? Well, entertainment value is a huge factor for me. Like, if a series is able to keep my attention, make me entertained, and I'm able to laugh, maybe feel emotion to some degree, that's really all I ask. I don't have anything too complicated I'm asking for when I am watching or reading a series. I want something just to make me entertained, get kind of engrossed in the material that I'm currently looking at, and that's about it. That's all I ask. And if it goes a step beyond that, then I'm really, really satisfied. And I think that because of just the stigma around Rent-A-Girlfriend, it made my overall anticipation of it higher. And I was excited to be able to see such a series that is basically a dumpster fire in the anime and manga community. And I honestly enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. It's nice. So, let's talk about the characters, okay? I know everybody's going to talk about instantly focus on Kazuya because obviously he is definitely pathetic. Let's get that out of the way. He is. I mean, the man's spending thousands of dollars, tens of thousands potentially, on Chizuru and whatever other stuff he's doing. And here's the thing. As much as I think he's pathetic, and he is, and as much as I think that he's blew a lot of money, he was definitely using, let's say, his grandma's money to be able to do what he wanted with it, he does eventually get a job. And the fact that he gets his own job to support his hobbies, okay, I think that's commendable. I honestly, the man's making his own money, let him do what he wants. Simple as that. I see nothing wrong with a man that is working his own time, getting his own money, and spending his own money on what he wants to spend it on. It's nobody else's, right to tell him he can't do something, so to speak. We could say, yeah, it's kind of pathetic, but overall, I don't think, Kazuya's in the wrong for spending money, technically, because, he's spending money because he earned it. So, I think that's an aspect of Kazuya that I think maybe some don't really talk about. Yeah, we can call him whatever, but I think that the fact that he's making his own money to support what he wants, I think is okay. I'm just like, you know what? Leave the man be. Now, talking about Chizuru as a character. So Chizuru, I think as a character, as the main female lead, I like her. I know she has that tsundere aspect to her, and obviously, because she's the main character, she's going to end up with Kazuya. Common sense. It's common sense that is exactly what's going to happen for the story. I will not be surprised. I don't think anyone that is reading Rent-a-Girlfriend would literally be surprised whatsoever if she wins. I mean, honestly, if anyone is shocked, you clearly haven't read a lot of rom-coms or romance stories or even manga to begin with or watched anime, because it's just a common theme. When the main female character is introduced, she's going to end up with the MC. And all the other girls are basically, even if they're better, they're throwaways. That's the truth. That's legitimately the truth. And I think that, in all honesty, even though I think that that's kind of sad that, you know, Kazuya is going to potentially end up with Chizuru, because I prefer certain other female characters, like Mami, for example, I think that it makes sense. I mean, they've been spending time a lot together. He's been basically sending her money, regardless of however you view that, for a long period of time. If he wants to be her sugar daddy, simple as that. Okay, he's her sugar daddy. But, I mean, they mutually have been hanging out for a very long time, and if you spend enough time with someone for a very long time, like a relationship like that, you're probably going to get feelings for each other. So, it makes sense. In terms of length and time they spent together, I think them ending up together makes solid sense. Now, let's talk about the other characters. Mami. The reason why I think she's best girl. Well, I'm going to be honest. She's vile. She is an absolute vile, fake individual that loves to straight up be the nightmare definition of an ex. Like, for instance, if anyone thinks of a nightmare ex, Mami would be front and center and be the exact poster child for that. And for good reason. She is absolutely a frightening and scary individual in Rent-a-Girlfriend. And it's completely understandable why people don't like her. I do want to make sure that is fundamentally clear. It is completely understandable why people don't like Mami. She is not meant to be likable. She is not meant to be a good person. She is actually supposed to be basically the antagonist or villain of the story, at least to what I've seen so far, because she is someone that actively progresses the plot. Like, she asks the hard questions and forces Chizuru to think about things, and Kazuya, but she's also someone that will straight up be just like a perfect realistic representation of maybe someone that is very toxic and an ex of somebody. I think that's exactly what she represents. Mami is not a good person. She wasn't written to be a good person. She's probably never going to be a good person. And I think that also the element of Kazuya still being kind of stuck on her is also very realistic. And I know some people will be like, why doesn't he just give her up? Why doesn't he just throw her away? Or why doesn't he move on? Because obviously she's not good for him. The thing is that you love the people who you love. There's nothing you can do to change that. When you fall in love with someone, you fall in love with someone. And that's just that. That's how we are as humans. And if someone shows you compassion, or maybe it's your first love or whatever, you're going to grow attached to them. And that's what happens. And that's the same thing I want to use for, Chizuru, is that he's growing attached with her. But the thing is that Mami was basically his first relationship. And because of that, he grew a bond with her. He likes her. And I think that him having some form of attachment to her, even if, once again, I think he's pathetic for it, it doesn't mean it isn't realistic. And I think that is a very strong element to Rent-a-Girlfriend that I think some don't really take a moment to consider, is that, yes, Kazuya, once again, pathetic, I keep saying it, but I think that one of the big aspects of him is that what he is doing and paying, basically, for, a rental girlfriend is what someone would do. You're not going to tell me with a straight face, like a legitimate straight face, without lying, without trying to kid yourself, that there isn't someone in this world, right now, that wouldn't pay for something like a rental girlfriend, like Chizuru. We have OnlyFans. Not putting that down either. I'm just saying, we have something like that exists. And so, everything about Kazuya is pretty realistic. Chizuru is too. She's just trying to make it through life. Mami, very realistic. And so, let's move on to the next characters. Ruka. Ruka as a character, I like her. Okay, I want to be completely honest here. Out of all the characters in terms of personality-wise, I think Ruka is the best. But she's too good for the series. She is too good for the series, and the same theoretically could be said about Sumi as well, and I'll talk about her in a second. But Ruka, she clearly has feelings for Kazuya. Very apparent since her introduction. And regardless of how shallow her feelings are, how she managed to fall in love with him, etc., it does not change the fact that out of all the female characters within the story, at least from what I have seen so far, she is the only one that technically has romantic feelings for him, and actually likes him. And if you think about Kazuya's goal of what he wants, he wanted a girlfriend. That's the whole reason he got Chizuru, a rental girlfriend. He wanted a girlfriend. Okay, fine. But the fact that he kind of pushes aside Ruka and just shoves her to the side and he keeps chasing after these other girls. Once again, realistic, it happens. But at the same time, it's also the fact that I think Ruka's just too good for the series. I think that she should never end up with Kazuya, because Kazuya, he's toxic. He's not a good person technically deep down, and I think because of how his personality is, he wouldn't treat Ruka really good. And I think Ruka deserves someone better. That's the end of discussion there. I just think she deserves someone better. She's a very nice person. I think that legitimately out of all the characters I've seen so far, she's probably the best person. She legitimately is trying to be the best she can be. So, Ruka, overall, I think, yeah, she shouldn't end up with Kazuya. Now, moving on to the next character, Sumi. Sumi, I haven't had a lot of time with her, and I have heard that she has her own spin-off series and everything like that, but Sumi as a character, she feels flat, and she's basically like cardboard. And once again, let me explain. I like her appearance, I like her voice actor, I like the brief moments I've had of her, but she has very sparse and few appearances, at least from what I've seen, and she was introduced so late in the season 1, I don't really care about her. I don't. And I think that, yeah, she's cute, but that's about it. She's just a blushing, shy girl, and yeah, I think that can be attractive, but I mean, it's just like, the fact that that's really the only thing she has going for her within the series, it doesn't really separate her really too much from any other character. She's just flat as a character, and so I have really no interest in her, and I think that overall, because of her personality, she also shouldn't be with Kazuya. I think Kazuya would absolutely make her a bad person, and he would be a toxic boyfriend to her, so she should never end up with Kazuya. That's also my opinion on the matter. Which gets into the next thing, Mami. So Mami, as I already said, she's my personal best girl for the series, and I think the reason why is because I think that out of all the characters that Kazuya technically deserves, it's Mami. With how wishy-washy he is and how he continuously does the things he's doing throughout the story, I think Mami is the one character that he deserves the most. Say whatever you will about that, she's toxic, he's toxic, it's like peanut butter and jelly. There you go, they fit together, there you go. I think that's exactly why I say that. Now, besides that, I want to take a few moments to talk about the overall story, the plot, the progression, so to speak. As I already talked about briefly in this video alone, I think Mami does progress the story. Every time she's a part of the story, she definitely full throttles the story. The story goes forward. And I feel like every time the story was feeling like it was slowing down in Season 1, Mami would appear and just force the plot to move. And I have heard, and thanks to my recent videos and topics on Rent-A-Girlfriend, that Mami is definitely someone that continuously reinforces and pushes the plot forward. I think that's really good. She basically is the antagonist of the story. It's fine. And I think that, her being around is kind of like that temptation for Kazuya that will always be there, so I see nothing wrong with that necessarily, which is one of another reasons why she's probably the best character of the entirety of the anime so far. So, yeah, I think, overall, Rent-A-Girlfriend, yeah, my thoughts still stand. I think it's an 8.5 anime out of 10. I enjoyed it. I did. I want to continue watching. Gonna finish Season 2. Maybe dive into the manga. But, yeah, I just wanted to give my thoughts on how I felt about Season 1 of Rent-A-Girlfriend. So thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, I greatly appreciate it. And with that, Chibi out.